Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Dominica's Prime Minister denies he's the subject of a U.S. probe. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, January 30. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening and welcome. The Dominica government has dismissed a social media report that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is under investigation by United States law enforcement authorities, and it has blamed the main opposition United Workers' Party, the UWP, for engineering the report as part of a strategy to seize political control of the country. The report on Facebook claims that Skerrit is being probed by an unnamed U.S. agency for his role in the sale of a Dominican passport to Iranian national Ali Reza Halat Monfared, who has been arrested on allegations of involvement in Iran's biggest ever corruption scandal. But in a statement issued via Skype from Greece over the weekend, Skerrit said that that was completely false.
For the record, I have not been approached, nor has my assistance been sought in relation to any of the matters referred to in this article. I have been assured that I am in no way considered a person of interest or relevance to the sanctions evasions case, nor any case in Iran against Mr. Monfared. If any information were to be requested from me, I will be willing to assist. However, I have no information that could be of any relevance to matters. I wish to assure citizens of Dominica at home and abroad that this treasonous campaign by opposition forces in Dominica and their allies abroad will not succeed and will not detract us from the important work that we have to do to rebuild this country.
Prime Minister Skerrit also blasted UWP leader Lennox Linton, who he blamed for the report, and he said the claim was an attack on Dominica's social and economic stability.
First, let me say that the agents of Lennox Linton and his cohorts have gone beyond the boundaries of decency and respect for the sovereignty of Dominica. Let me suggest that its leader is the subject of an investigation by individuals or agencies whom they themselves cannot name. This is now the height of irresponsibility and shows a callous disregard for the impact of this juvenile smear campaign on the image and well-being of Dominica.
And responding in his own video on social media, Linton rubbished Skerrit's claim. He also dismissed the Prime Minister's assertion that he and his party should be blamed for the manner in which the country is now viewed internationally. Linton said Dominica was being looked at as a country that doesn't care about global security. And in his 20-minute broadcast, he also asked the Prime Minister to tell Dominicans about the nature of his visit to Greece.
No, Mr. Skerrit, it is your fault. It is the result of your reckless, unacceptable behavior as leader of this country that the country finds itself in this very difficult situation internationally now. We have been looked at as a rogue nation. We've been looked at a country that doesn't give a damn about global security because we have some petty, personal economic interest to protect in the government, not among the people, because the people will survive and the people will go on.
And the Bahamas government is also on the defensive. It is dismissing a U.S. television report that the terrorist group ISIS has members in the country. Foreign Minister Fred Mitchell says he held discussions with Prime Minister Perry Christie and other authorities responsible for the country's national security, and they have no information regarding the allegations made in the report on MSNBC. Mitchell described it as rubbish. MSNBC's Malcolm Nance had reported that ISIS has dozens of members from countries in the region, such as Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Bahamas. And his comments did not sit well with many Bahamians who took to social media to respond to the allegations. The foreign minister is calling for a retraction of the statement. We get more in this report from Ladon Davis of ZNS Network News.
Bahamas, who have more terrorist members than any of those other countries.
It's these disturbing comments made by a so-called veteran security and terrorism expert Malcolm Nance while a guest on the MSNBC TV show Am Joy with Joy and Reed on Saturday. Those claims raised some eyebrows and sparked a heated debate among Bahamians here at home and around the world who took to social media bashing the so-called security expert on his erroneous accusations about terrorists living in the Bahamas.
The United States at some point. We haven't banned terrorists from Brazil. ISIS has dozens of members from Brazil, or Trinidad, or the Bahamas, who have more terrorist members than any of those other countries.
Those mind-boggling comments came hours after discussions were had by media professionals on most U.S. television stations about the United States President Donald Trump's decision to change U.S. policy, banning refugees from traveling to that country for at least 90 days. The immigration ban has fueled several protests at airports around the United States and also grabbed the attention of a number of immigration groups who are calling the move by Trump un-American. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, says while this latest move may not have a direct impact on Bahamians living in the United States, he says he is deeply concerned about that statement made by Nance, calling it absolute rubbish.
This is an alarming allegation to make. We have no idea where he gets his information from. Our people in Washington are at the moment reaching out to him to find out on what basis does he make such an allegation. We're asking for MSNBC to issue a retraction or a clarification of the remarks. We are also I've also checked with all of our local authorities, the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, the SIB chief, to find out whether or not they are aware of any such ISIS group in the Bahamas or any such terrorists. None of them are aware of anything. The briefings take place on a regular basis with U.S. officials. There's no awareness of that either. So we're quite concerned about that.
Meanwhile, Caribbean-American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke is issuing a warning about American President Donald Trump's recent executive order barring people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries, and they have been barred from entering the United States. The executive order, which was signed over the weekend, elicited immediate opposition from inside as well as outside of the United States. And in an emergency meeting on Muslim community in New York on Saturday night, Councilwoman Clarke, who is of Jamaican parentage, said she's concerned that the ban could expand to Caribbean countries such as Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, where Muslims practice their religion. She called on the countries of the region to band together to push back against any actions that would affect Muslims in the region. Clarke denounced Trump's executive order, saying that she will never accept this attack on Muslim families as the policy of the United States. Trump said the executive order was part of his vetting plan to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the U.S. Belize Prime Minister Dean Barrow is cautiously optimistic as discussions continue between the government and the superbond holders. The Belizean government is asking for a third restructuring of the $500 million bond, which becomes due in 2038. It wants the interest on the bonds cut from 5% to 4% starting February 20th. And it's also asking for an adjustment in the timing of the principal payments from the current 38 semi-annual installments starting in 2019 to 3 equal amortizations on February 20th of 2036, 2037 and 2038.
We certainly have come away with the impression that there is a willingness on the part of the bondholders, the creditor committee, and their advisors to discuss matters. I don't want to put it any higher than that. I don't want to misrepresent them, but it's not that we just took it into our heads that this thing ought to be extended. We are extending for what we feel is good and sufficient cause.
And coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a call for self-government in Trinidad and Tobago. The details of that story and more when we return. Stay with us.
Oh, Bella, grab your girlfriends because we're all heading to the Concord Experience for the Girlfriends Expo and Arts Festival to experience La Dolce Vita. Yes, the sweet life. It's wine, cheese, pasta, pizza, plus the flavor and culture of Italy, while exploring the many deals from our exciting exhibitors. Saturday, February 4th and Sunday, February 5th, check out the all-new Arts Village, specialty events, seminars, the charity brunch, and the Vagina Monologues. We can't forget the fashion shows, live music, and more on the Neutrogena main stage. Get your early bird tickets now for only $20 from all TicketPal and Italia Combi locations, or enjoy the all-inclusive VIP foodie experience for only $75. Art parties, rejuvenation, shopping, paparazzi, and good friends. It's Girlfriends Expo and Arts Festival, La Dolce Vita. Thanks to IGM, Purity Bakeries, Y103.3 FM, NCF, and Trident 10 TV.
Straight out of the bodacious and beautiful culture of the Caribbean comes a music and talent competition like no other. Brace yourself for the exciting, entertaining, extraordinary, and new reality docuseries, Icon of the Islands. The story begins in the breathtaking backdrop of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Every year, this is where a wide and diverse range of contestants of all ages and backgrounds audition for a wildly popular and prominent local talent competition. And the ultimate goal for each contestant is to win.
I already have my favorites, but my favorites may not prevail tonight.
Some moments will bring performers to their knees, while some performances will bring fans to their feet. Get ready to see which star will be the last one shining in the spotlight as the stars align this season on Icon of the Islands.
We continue with news from Tobago, where there are calls for Tobago to be allowed to govern itself. And those calls have come from Minority Leader of the House of Tobago Assembly, Watson Duke.
As the Minority Leader, I'm calling upon the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister to give Tobago what it has been waiting for over 100 years. Give us autonomy.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown held discussions with opposition leader Baldwin Spencer on the move towards adopting the Caribbean Court of Justice as the country's final court. And he says Spencer made a number of recommendations that government is willing to take on board, including widening the coordinating committee to include a wider range of stakeholders. Brown says the government has agreed to the proposal as the country continues with preparations for a referendum to be held later this year.
Initially, our position was that in order to get buy-in to this process, that we should limit it to a single issue. But if it is going to be a situation in which we're looking at maybe a couple of non-contentious issues, we're willing to do so. But we have indicated very clearly to the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that we would then expect a full commitment from the United Progressive Party, that the commitment that we've had so far from himself and the leader of the UPP, that would be insufficient, and that they will now have to provide some level of leadership to take ownership of this process, because what we're seeking here is a bipartisan initiative. It was never the intention of my government to go it alone. And that is why we held the initial discussions at Government House about 18 months ago, to make sure that we have the full support of the United Progressive Party. I mean, to get 67% support certainly is unachievable unless we approach this issue on a bipartisan matter.
Prime Minister Brown says Spencer had given a commitment to get the UPP to reconsider its position, as the party has said it will not support the CCJ as a final appellate court.
So to that extent, and based on what the Prime Minister stated in terms of broadening the scope and the representation of the coordinating committee, clothed with other things to give serious consideration to, and the commitment to doing a number of things, not only as it relates specifically to reform of the Constitution, but things that would impact upon our move towards the CGJ, that those things would be looked at. I am prepared to go back to the leadership of the United Progressive Party, explain to them the outcome, if you like, of these deliberations.
Guyana's Finance Minister Winston Jordan says that sugar has not been contributing in any sizable way to the country's foreign exchange earnings in recent times. And he says it's not likely the sector will improve anytime soon. We get more in this report from Handel Duncan of HGP TV.
Gaisuco has been scaling back its operations for the last 18 months or so, according to Finance Minister Winston Jordan. The minister was responding to a query on a possible shortfall in foreign exchange earnings, which in some instances go directly toward the country's foreign exchange reserves. Despite the scaling back, the foreign exchange market continues to function properly, the minister asserted.
We have still maintained a healthy reserves and so on. Like I said the last time, Guyana over the last 50 years have had at least one leading commodity that has, quote unquote, bailed it out.
The minister explained that at one time it was bauxite. For a short time during the 70s, it was sugar. And presently, there is gold.
So, something will step in, essentially. And as I said the last time, even with the lower earnings from sugar, rice, timber, we still have reserves that are higher today than at the end of 2015.
The intended changes in the operations of the sugar industry is expected to result in less foreign earnings, at least for sugar.
But remember, the changes that we are looking at are a comprehensive package with diversification, more efficiency in sugar, and so on, the other areas of alcohol and so on. So the sugar part, maybe yes, but you will be looking at the other areas that we are talking about to look at that thing. I don't know whether they're compensated or not. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, this is a gradual process.
What the country earned in the past from sugar was as a result of a favored price Ghana received from the European Union. Those days are gone, Minister Jordan emphasized. He said, though, that to remain in sugar, there is need to be more efficient and competitive in restricted markets like CARICOM. At the Ministry of Agriculture's end-of-year press conference, Agriculture Minister Noel Holder had stated that the sugar company has already advised that should the industry remain as presently structured, it would require subsidies from the government in the sum of $18.6 billion and $21.4 billion for the years 2017 and 2018.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, a third straight win for the Leeward Islands Hurricanes as the regional Super 50 tournament continues. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Welcome to my island. Welcome to my Caribbean island. Welcome to my island.
Maybe in my next life, I'll become a golfer.
Get ready for the Caribbean's most original carnival, Dominica's Carnival, Mass Dominic 2017, February 4th to the the 28th, revel in the splendor of a masquerade band. Experience the parades, the non-stop fets, Dominica nights, Dominique do, Mass Dominique, the real mass. Come, revel with us. Visit us online at dominicafestivals.com or call us at 767-255-8221.
Ciao, Bella! Grab your girlfriends because we're all heading to the Concord Experience for the Girlfriends Expo and Arts Festival to experience La Dolce Vita. Yes, the sweet life. It's wine, cheese, pasta, pizza, plus the flavor and culture of Italy, while exploring the many deals from our exciting exhibitors. Saturday, February 4th and Sunday, February 5th, check out the all-new Arts Village, specialty events, seminars, the charity brunch, and the Vagina Monologues. We can't forget the fashion shows, live music, and more on the Neutrogena main stage. Get your early bird tickets now for only $20 from all TicketPal and Italia Coffee locations, or enjoy the all-inclusive VIP foodie experience for only $75. Art parties, rejuvenation, shopping, paparazzi, and good friends. It's Girlfriends Expo and Arts Festival, La Dolce Vita. Thanks to IGM, Purity Bakeries, Y103.3 FM, NCF, and Trident 10 TV.
A flamboyant career-best century from Captain Kieran Powell and a devastating 6-wicket haul from Test speedster Alzari Joseph inspired Leeward Islands Hurricanes to a crushing 184-run victory over Windward Islands Volcanoes. And this took place as they racked up their third successive victory in the regional Super 50 in Antigua on Sunday night. Sent in at Coolidge Cricket Ground, Hurricanes amassed a tournament-high 333 for 6 of their 50 overs. It was also their second highest total in the history of the regional competition. The left-hander Powell, in his first full season of regional cricket following a self-imposed break, plummelled a superb 135 of 137 balls, which included 10 fours and 4 sixes. Captain and off-spinner Liam Sebastian claimed 3 for 42, while seamer Kyle Mayers supported with 2 for 66. Joseph then wrecked the Volcanoes innings with career-best figures of 6 for 31 as the visitors crashed to 149 all out of 28.1 overs. They were tottering at 24 for 5 in the 7th over, with Joseph accounting for 4 of the 5 wickets to fall. And though Mayers top scored with 45 and Darren Sammy got 33, there was no recovery for Volcanoes. They had now lost 2 matches in 3 outings. Leeward Islands Hurricanes all-rounder Kevon Cooper was hospitalized with a facial injury following an on-field collision with teammate Garvin Tong during that contest against Windward Islands Volcanoes. The incident occurred on the deep mid-wicket boundary during the Volcanoes innings as Tong sprinted toward the ropes to pull off a stunning one-handed catch to dismiss Darren Sammy. Trinidadian Cooper crashed into Tong and had to be taken from the field on a stretcher. He was expected to undergo surgery on Monday after sustaining a broken nose. Fast bowler Tong was able to continue, however, finishing with 2 for 47 to help Hurricanes pull off their crushing 184-run victory over their perennial rivals. Newly appointed head coach of the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors, Dennis Lawrence, is wasting no time getting the ball rolling for another World Cup bid. And we're talking football. The former defender made that clear at his official unveiling as head coach in Port of Spain on Monday. His first assignment will be to prepare TNT for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Panama and Mexico in March. Lawrence is hoping the players will be released soon from their duties in the Pro League.
The first game is on the 24th of March. I plan to start working with the players. I've been here since Wednesday night I came. I've had the privilege to see 4 games so far. So I've seen most of the teams. The plan at the moment is to sit down with the staff and put together a program. I expect to be working with the players. I've got to be respectful to the players' football clubs. They're all in competition at the moment. So I plan to sit down with the football clubs and find out what would be appropriate for them for me to have the players available. But as I said before, I'm here on the ground and I'm ready to work as of in the morning.
The former defender, who was responsible for putting TNT in the first World Cup finals in 2006, hopes his presence will build the team's morale for another berth in the World Cup in Russia next year.
From the moment this situation where being able to come back in, I've spent some time looking at the games, and talent of Trinidad and Tobago football is not a question. Direction is where we need to now get to. I believe in the players, and I believe in the players' ability. I wouldn't take this job if I had no belief. If we want to try and get to Russia, we have to have belief. The moment that it becomes unattainable, if ever it happens, then it's when we move on to the next phase. And that is development and preparation for Qatar 2022.
Meantime, highly regarded Spanish coach Roberto Martinez has described Lawrence as the perfect fit for the Trinidad and Tobago men's senior coach position. Lawrence served several years under Martinez in various positions. Martinez, who is the current manager of the Belgium national side, said Lawrence had served with the same excellence as coach as he had during his playing career. TV6's Vinod Nawani has more on that story.
Now that he's the man at the helm, it's inevitable that comments are going to be made. Speaking of which, Belgium's national team manager Roberto Martinez has congratulated Lawrence on his appointment. Martinez says, quote, "Dennis is the perfect fit for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. He will be an inspiration to any young player and current player who can dream of representing their country in a World Cup finals. Dennis enjoyed that dream, being a player who always carried the highest standards in everything he did." Martinez continues, "Those standards have been impeccable in the last 6 seasons, working with elite footballers in the Premier League and in the last 5 months at international level with his contribution in the scouting departments for the Belgium Red Devils." Unquote. Martinez played a key role in the grooming of Lawrence as a coach, saying that his staff was also delighted for the former Swansea City player. Lawrence worked with Martinez after being hired as a staff member and assistant coach at Wigan Athletic in England in 2010. When Martinez took over as head coach at Everton, he took Lawrence with him, where he served as a first-team assistant coach between 2013 and 2016. Martinez then made Lawrence a Belgium first-team scout in 2016 after he was appointed as the new manager there. Martinez says, quote, "I know through experience of working with Dennis that his passion and commitment to his role will be exemplary, and with the support of the fans of the TNT national team and association, this new era will be very exciting. We are delighted with the appointment and wish Dennis the luck that his work and application deserves."
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Round Hay Pharmacy now has 2 locations to fill your prescriptions promptly and efficiently. Our branch at One Accord Plaza is open daily, including Sundays and bank holidays. Also, check out our new drive-through location at Warren's Healthcare Complex in Michael, the first and only drive-through pharmacy in Barbados. For more information, call Round Hay One Accord Plaza at 421-7863 and our new drive-through branch at Warren's in Michael at 424-5574.
Welcome to my island. Welcome to my Caribbean island. Welcome to my island.
Maybe in my next life, I'll become a golfer.
A recap of the major developments of this day. The Dominica government dismisses a report that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt is under investigation by U.S. law enforcement authorities. And in sport, a 3rd straight win for Leeward Island Hurricanes as the regional Super 50 continues, but all-rounder Kevon Cooper is injured in an on-field collision. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to condanews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourselves a very good night.